choir's here. Good. Hello.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
And for those of you who are more Yiddishly inclined, good Shabbos. So, speaking of language, I found out this week that the Spanish Ladino greeting for wishing someone a lovely Sabbath is Sábado Dulce y Bueno. All right? Sábado Dulce y Bueno, a sweet and good Shabbat.
Dulce,
yeah.
right.
It's really nice. It's really nice. And so with that sweetness, I want you to turn to a neighbor and share something sweet that happened to you this week. What was something that was a little bit dulce? Something a little sweet that you experienced this week? Hold on to that sweetness as we welcome the Shabbat angels with Shalom Aleichem, page 11. Speaking of sweetness, in honor of his upcoming B'nai Mitzvah, I'd like to invite up Ryder and his family to help us light our Shabbat candles.
You can light them first, huh? Who's gonna?
Yeah.
And then we'll do the blessing off.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. We turn to page 21 for Psalm 96, Shiru Ladonai. I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived. Page 22. Turn on the light and the darkness goes. Turn up your light and negative energy goes. Ramp it up brighter and brighter for you to enjoy more and more of it. Turn on the light and the darkness goes. Turn up your light. Page 29.
עצרת בלגן בשמחה ובצהלתו אמוני עם סגולה בוריכלה
Page 36. We continue with Baruch Hu. You may be seated. Page 38.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברתם בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
They say cold feet are a sign of turning back, the failure of internal will. But it can be the other way. The body's anticipation of things to come, whether it's demons nipping at your heels or gnawing within. Here's the thing. Settle quietly. Close your eyes. And then take the most deliberate, deep breath, as though it were the very first. And when you can feel it penetrate every bit of your being, making the rest of your life possible, open your eyes and take the first step out into the sea of reeds. Watered feet are just the price of coming home. Micha Mocha, page 39.
Micha
prayer for the night, page 40. Turn to page 87 and we rise and face east. We'll begin together and continue silently through page 93. And you may be seated when you're ready.
Oh, God. אחת שאלתי בעת אדוני, אחת שאלתי אותה אבקש, אחת שאלתי בעת אדוני, אחת שאלתי אותה אבקש. Excuse me. שבתי, שבתי, בבית אדוני, שבתי, שבתי, כל ימי חיי, שבתי, שבתי, בבית אדוני, שבתי, שבתי, כל ימי חיי, לחזור בנועם אדוני, ולבקר בהיכלו, לחזור בנועם אדוני, to gaze upon the beauty of one thing, I ask you, Adonai, to be with you all of my life. One thing, I ask you, Adonai, to be with you all of my life.
I've been thinking about the first description of humanity in Torah. At the very beginning of Genesis, God says it's not good for humanity to be levado, alone. There's a difference between being alone and being lonely, right? Big difference. Sometimes it's fabulous being alone. Lonely is different. Maybe that's what God was sort of saying. And when we say a Mishaberach, we're saying a Mishaberach, a prayer for healing, sometimes not for body only, but also for soul. Sometimes a soul that is just very alone. And so we think of all those parts of ourselves that feel lonely at times, that are in need of a hug and a prayer for healing. And also those in our community and in our family and in the world. So if there are those who you are holding now that you would like to say their name out loud, let's say their name out loud as we prepare to say Mishaberach together.
Ari, Michal, Ezra, Betsy,
Eleanor,
Rita, Seth.
Joshua. Page 239.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor Abracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekol abracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
You know when you bite into a piece of fruit that is not yet ripe, right? You're sort of anxious to eat it, and you squeeze it and you smell it and you try to convince yourself, yeah, that cantaloupe is good, or that strawberry, I think it's gonna work. And you look at the color and you twirl it around, and then you try it and it's like, I shouldn't have wasted it, right? That peach cost a lot of money. Takes time. Not only fruit, but most things in life take time. And so too our tshuva process, our process of turning, repenting before Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. It takes time. And we need to lean into it. We need to give it space to breathe like good wine. Otherwise, it just tastes sour. And it's actually the same with Torah itself. I just learned such a beautiful bit of Torah from Daniel Matt. Daniel Matt is the professor up north, and he translates Zohar. And so there's this beautiful teaching in Bereshit Rabbah that Torah itself is compared to an unripe fruit, which is pretty bold of the rabbis, right? To compare Torah to an unripe fruit. It's as if to say, oh, Torah's not ready yet. And it's bold of the rabbis because the rabbis are then saying that we need to ripen it, right? We need to let it breathe within us and let it mature. So I brought you a little Torah this evening, and it's on your chairs. It's every other chair. See, it's right here. Okay. Does everyone have or sitting next to someone who has? Do you guys have Alan? Okay. Okay, so it's from this week's Torah portion. It's actually the very beginning of this week's Torah portion. And I found it a beautiful invitation, especially, and we'll read it together in a moment, especially during this time of self-ripening, right? So the context is we're in the book of Deuteronomy. We're almost at the end. They're about to get into the land of Israel. And Moses is saying to them, so when you do get into the land of Israel, this is what you need to do. And it is the shortest bit of Jewish history that you can find. Like if you interview man on the street, so tell me about what it is to be a Jew and what's your history? This is it, okay? In 10 lines or less. So when you enter the land that God is giving you as a heritage and you possess it and settle it, you shall take some of every first fruit of the soil, which you harvest from the land that God has given you, and put it in a basket. You know, I saw that word basket, and of course it reminded me of who was put in a basket. Right, and this is Moses talking. So I was like, oh, is it the same basket word? And actually, basket case Michelle, no, it's not the same basket word. The basket word in Exodus is a word that has to do with like reeds, you know, like a natural basket. But this word is the word tene, which is an Egyptian word for basket, and it's usually a metal basket. So I just find that, just sort of historically interesting that they were borrowing Egyptian words at this moment of time in Torah, okay? So take the fruit, the first fruit once you get into the land, put it in this metal Egyptian basket, and go to the place where your God will choose to establish the divine name. And you shall go to the priest in charge at the time and then say to him, so this is the summary of our people. Ready? I acknowledge this day before you, God, that I've entered the land and sworn God to our fathers to assign us. And the priest shall take the bag from your hand and set it down in front of you. Sorry, this is the part. And then you will recite as follows before God. Here it is. My father, a wandering Aramean, he went down. The word wandering is oved, which also can mean to be lost, to stray, to wander. Okay? So my ancestors are people that are constantly lost. They're constantly wandering around. They're constantly astray. And he went down, and notice that that's the same verb that we're going to see on Yom Kippur when Jonah goes down in the boat, and then down in the sea, and then down into the belly of the big fish, right? Same word. We're foreshadowing Yom Kippur right now. And he went down to Egypt with meager numbers and lived there. But there he became a great and very populous nation. The Egyptians dealt harshly with us and oppressed us. They imposed heavy labor upon us. We cried to God, the God of our ancestors, and God heard our plea and saw our plight, our misery, our oppression, and God freed us from Israel with a mighty hand, by an outstretched arm and awesome power, and by signs and portents, bringing us to this place and giving us this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. Wherefore I now bring the first fruits of the soil to which you, God, have given me. You shall leave it before your God and bow low before your God. Okay, so in summary, oppression, crying out, being heard, giving us a place, and then us showing gratitude. Right? Doesn't that remind you of the Jewish joke? What are all Jewish holidays about? They oppressed us, we won, now let's go eat. Right? That's where this comes from. But why the metaphor of fruit? Fruit is what sustains us. It's the first thing in the Garden of Eden that we ate, right? And it's a reminder here that it's not just our own doing, but there's something beyond us, helping us, guiding us. Some people call that God. We Jews, just like Muslims, have so many words to describe that power and force in the universe that's beyond us. Yotzer, creator. Harachamim, the womb one, the compassionate one. Mekor HaChaim, source of life. El Roi, the one who sees me. Yah, the breath of life. So here's my Shabbat thought for tonight. We read this right before Rosh Hashanah. This portion is always right before Rosh Hashanah. And I wonder if it's suggesting to us that we too are wandering. We might feel like we've sunk low, Yored, gone down this past year. And we too are invited to cry out. We too want to really be heard, right? We're going to sing in a week, Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Kolenu. Hear us. And we too know that we have people who love us and need us. And we have so many gifts in our lives, like that bag of fruit. And we have a place. And we too, no matter how challenging this year may have been, we have gifts that we've received, and we have the ability to be grateful. The goals of the high holidays sometimes feel very daunting. So I want to leave us with actually just one directive. Rabbi Kalmus Kalman Shapiro. We're going to look at him in a moment. But I just want to tell you who he was. He was a rabbi in Poland. And during World War II, during the Holocaust, he and many other Jews were forced to live in ghettos. And he was sent to the Warsaw Ghetto. And he then started to be the rabbi of the Warsaw Ghetto. And he created a community of people who wanted to get closer to God in the midst of this horror. And every day, every week, they committed to meet each other. 3 times a week, they would meet with each other. And they had to commit to be introspective people who wanted to get closer to God. That was the requirements. And you could be of any age, 5 years and up, to be in his community. And everyone kept journals. And he kept a journal of his struggles in life, his personal struggles. And he wrote all of those down, and he buried them. And after the war, they were found. And that's why we have his writings. He was killed in November of 43 at a camp. And this man wrote the following. The only tool you need for this work, for drawing closer to God, is attention. This is already enough. Learn to slow down and examine every sensation that passes through you. By doing this, you are actually examining the inner structures of the heavenly plan as it evolves and interfaces with your existence. That's pretty incredible. Paying attention, noticing your feelings, and slowing down. If that's all we can do on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, I will say for myself, Dayenu. If that's all I can accomplish, just to pay attention to my feelings, to slow down, and to name them. So let's ripen our fruit together, the fruit of our lives, the fruit of Torah, the fruit of the many gifts we do have. And let's do that with great attention as we slow down and welcome in the new year.
Shakach.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol. It really is upon each and every one of us to make that vision happen. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol. It is upon us. Page 292.
Rise and face the east.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
4 lines from the bottom. 282.
והשב אותה אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים. והשב אותה אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים. אינו עוד מלבדו, אינו אפס זולתו, אינו עוד מלבדו, אינו אפס זולתו, אחד, אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, אינו עוד מלבדו, אינו אפס זולתו, אינו עוד מלבדו, אינו אפס זולתו.
Can be seated. This week we remember the passing of Jack Robbins within this past month, Alan Rudnick, Seymour Tankel, and Erwin Wagner. And just this week, a longtime member, Arthur Greer. And at this time in years past, we remember the yahrzeits of Ernest Adler, Andre Baruch, Francis Bay, Rose Better, Gerald Blackman, Ted Buchalter, Brett Matthew Cooper, Mark Dichter, Judith Dickinson, Joan Epstein, Florine Fox Rubenstein, Beatrice Friedman, Eugene Greenfeld, Sylvia Krugman, Burton Levine, Simon Lipsman, Helen Mandel, Karen Maxwell, Charlotte Meyer, Esther Norber, Catherine Rabinowitz, Berenica Rappaport, Phyllis Reichman, Harold Schulman, Mayor Schalken, Malka Schneiderman, Helen Sobel, Louis Sugarman, and Jack Trimmer. If I mentioned a name that you are here to say Kaddish for, please rise. And if I didn't mention a name and you're here to say Kaddish for someone, please rise too and let us know who you're saying Kaddish for. And anyone who wants to help mourners say Kaddish, if you'd like to rise next to them, you can do so. Page 292. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah
Amen.
v'alma divrach hirutei v'yamich malchutei v'chayachon v'yomachon v'chayei tekol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru
Amen.
Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam olmei maya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kedusha
B'richu.
Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imru,
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru,
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Oh, say shalom. B'roma. Oh, say shalom. B'roma. Ya'aseh shalom. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. Oh, say shalom. B'roma. Oh, say shalom. B'roma. Ya'aseh shalom. Ya'aseh shalom. Shalom. Aleinu. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down.
You can take a seat. Just a couple of announcements before Ryder leads us in Kiddush and Motzi. There's a lot that's going to be going on in the next month. I know that you know that, but I'll just give you some highlights. Tomorrow night, right in there and out here, we're going to have an art exhibit that answers the question, what does forgiveness look like? What does forgiveness look like? It is the beginning of the high holiday season. It's called Slichot, which means sorry. And we're going to look at the art. We're going to do some Havdalah outside here. And then we're going to change all of the Torah covers from the deep red to the white. So please come. You can bring friends. You can come by yourself. It is 7 o'clock tomorrow night is Slichot. And then we have all of these high holiday season going on. We have all of the clergy, including our cantor and all 3 rabbis and our soloist, are going to start Rosh Hashanah in there at 5 o'clock on Erev Rosh Hashanah. And it'll be really fun and really nice. And then the next morning, all of our clergy again are going to be in there at 9 a.m. Rosh Hashanah morning. Not 10 a.m., 9 a.m. Rosh Hashanah morning in there for the minyan service. And then the second service will start at 11 a.m. in the sanctuary. So we're going to overlap this year so we can all be together. The High Tones and Michael Skloff will be in there as well, and Michael Alfera and our, what do you call it?
Our high holiday vocal ensemble.
The vocal ensemble will be in there. So please join us. And then also on first day Rosh Hashanah at 4 o'clock is Tashlich at the beach. Anyone can come to that as well, but it's a new location this year. It's at the Annenberg Community Beach House, and we're doing that on purpose because there's a long, long, long boardwalk that you can take out to the ocean. I even take my mother there in her wheelchair. So if you're able to wheel yourself or wheel someone else, you can pull a cart or whatever. Join us, Annenberg Beach, Rosh Hashanah Day, 4 o'clock. Second day Rosh Hashanah will also be wonderful, and there'll be a free luncheon that is sponsored by Lizzie Rossman and Mitchell Schwartz, so you can come to that. There's Yom Kippur Day, same thing, Kol Nidre and Yom Kippur, and then all day extravaganza. So please join us for all of those things. And now, Ryder, you can lead us. We're on page 294, and please lift up your Kiddush cup.
Let's uncover that. Yeah, there we go.
There you go. Pick it up.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'achava uvratzon hinhilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehila lanikra'e kodesh zecher liat Mitzrayim kivanu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodeshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat
L'chaim.
And then uncover the challah. Yep. Perfect. Okay. And now the motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem
Te'avon, you can stand up and we'll do some dancing. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.